The truth is that in that situation, he was not wrong. But if the leader of these 5 disciplines, he's been a fugitive twice. He repeated the mistake many times. Should I give him a 3rd chance? Not on Wednesday. If you give him a chance, then Viet Trach will become an example for all martial artists in the world. Long period soul. When martial artists hold the desire to live sorry for life, let the devil wreak havoc everywhere. If you allow him, then it's very likely that this will happen again. I remember the words of that time. It's not worth pondering. After a while, he just pulled out a card from his chest. He held up the order. Viet Trach, as guide inside the prison, said, I promise I will be in a similar situation next time. You will fight to the end. If you agree, I will forgive you. After that, 5 is still 5. Viet Trach is still a martial artist who controls Kai Shou. When Viet Trach saw that, he was moved to tears. I immediately hit my head and I wanted to meet. But I know myself. I myself am not worthy of grace. You look at the enemy. After a moment, he placed his order on the ground. My promise is still valid. The order is placed here. Every day you think clearly. You can take it with you at any time. When he finished, he stood up. Let the guards leave. Viet Trach remained on her knees there crying endlessly. The death squad is now coming up from the 3rd floor. He glanced at Cao, he said. In the end, he didn't take your pardon. When you hear that, the traffic stops immediately. Then glanced at him and bit his teeth and said no. He will receive it remotely. I saw that confident look of him. It's extremely confusing. He quickly helped him adapt, or the emperor once said, if one wants to escape the body as a butterfly, that person needs to go through 3 times. The first is to recognize the evil of the world. 2, it's about facing your true self. Even if thousands of people get in the way, still determined to move forward. Now he's past the first 2 moments. I believe he will take the final step, from which the body escapes into a butterfly. Move the scene to the other side. For a long time, we are walking together on the road right now. He just went and explained to her the basic things to know. The potential enemy of Zhu, except for the magic outside the Ganmen gate. High student martyrs walk on the world. Master Devil Shinto, outside the system of external court ordinations. There are also rebels. By the previous generation, together with strict Hoa banished to the South Tao sword. All over the world, the forces. I don't want to see the birth of the new lord too much. While strictly under siege in Liao City. Those forces, I will not miss the opportunity to strangle you. Right from the beginning. So this trip to the city, your enemies will be many. Their tricks can be so cruel. Even if you break your mind, it can only be overcome reluctantly. So you have to be careful every bit. Long nod, I know. But why go to the city? It's not my job to guard the wall. Sao Save quickly answer. Because you are the leader of the 8 great fires that lit up the south. The 7-year-old is missing one last step. To reach the extremes of humanity, you need to start from the beginning. In the sight of the world. Through 6 cities to manage the city. Hein Duong and so on in clouds. Then to Luoyang and Theo Tanan. Burma across the Yellow River to Engu Huang District Prize. Go to 13 places. It was only when you finally stepped out that step. Difficulties along the way. The same masters that fell at your hands. It will build your reputation. I came to the city with the help of my doctor. Open the paradise of love. There you have the power of disaster. 4 statues with the fire. It is considered perfect merit. It takes a long time to understand that Ra is like that. People just walk and talk. Unconscious came to the gate. The guards at the gate saw the 2 of them coming. Immediately shout and open the front door. Long time to leave the open. Tell the detector again. That's right, on the road this time. I will secretly escort you. There are 2 starlings, and an elite army of great. Together with you. The gate slowly opened to the side. There were 4 people waiting outside the city. These 4 are from left to right. Internal department, usually. The next eunuch is 7 animals in 2. 8 southern stars. And 18 stars southern 7 Titiang. The Han dynasty was ultimately the elite of the military. Wei Mei's, the mayor of Wei Mei's. In addition to them, Your Majesty has prepared for you the magic weapon. This technique is called the 10 negative karma, suffering in heaven. It's a national treasure that costs 15. It takes a lot of manpower and resources to train. Inside it, it's a world of its own. The way it's used is through concepts and phrases. The criminal has committed a crime. Into the tower, and then burn them down with fire. Inside the tower, its pullback range is about 10 sticks. The world when used is random. Forgetting your own name, or surrounding person or title. Forgotten people will suffer a lot of loss of energy. Some will trigger the cataclysm of life and death. I advise you to be careful when using it. He said he had left the tower for a long time. She'll get a nod right away. I'll pay attention. 2 hours after the party, who killed countless traitors blocking the way. A star sitting on a horse. Not out of wonder, it's really exaggerating. From the opening to the middle. We've seen 3 assassination attempts. So many rebels in the Taoist capital, Sao. I hear these words of care. The woman next to him immediately spoke up. I like this guest, it doesn't have to be in the capital. He sees Lo and he looks to the side. It's hard to understand. What is wrong with him? Lo turned his head. In the forest over there. There's something staring at me. Soaking up quickly from the chest. Take out a card command. Above the jade post immediately appeared an eye that he quickly developed raw. About 600 sticks around, everything immediately fell into his sight. Look at a rock. He feels a little bit wrong. But I can't see it forever. It's not right. Just like that, sitting on a horse. I can see Zhuangzu is forever silent. Interested and next to impatiently ask. Watch how it goes, stay in time. This is the start. There is nothing in the forest. They stop there to talk for a moment. Then we're on our way. Waiting for their shadows to completely disappear. When the Kier stone appeared eyes and nose and mouth. A pink smoke immediately enveloped the rock. After a while, the rock has turned into a pink baby. He's just breathing out now. It's finally gone. The intuition of this generation is strong. We can even feel our existence. Without the need for magical blessings. Seems this ambush tactic is useless. This little girl is Sen Xiang. Is the demon turned into Sun Jiam? The most understood is transformation. We must give this intelligence to the young master now. The sunset is falling. Some people have just gone to the center. So we stopped at the translation station here. To rest one night. The soldiers outside are watching. Inside, a bearded Han Chinese man, according to a big eat wine. Voice. You can drink a bottle of wine with him. What a lucky girl. 3 lucky girls. He's saving 3 fake martial artists in the middle of the plot. Du Qi Dao. A long time ago, he came to receive them. 2 VI level, a lower level graduate school to the Bujing. I looked at the 8 drinks in front of me a little confused. I don't drink. If you hear that, it takes 3 seconds. Then he scratched his head laughing. Is the little person who obstructs the great person who carries the mission. You really shouldn't drink alcohol. Self-punishment backups. 2 people, he and his wife, sit not far away. A watchful guard at this time asked Zhuangju, "How do you feel about her? It is hard to understand whether you're old or not." Before he finished, he continued to talk. You know who I'm talking about. I don't understand. This burning ceremony of Chu Duke. Why did the ambassador rule us out? Chu Duke cultivates pink interkarmic harmony. You can really control the goblins. Monster Kier, Sao, in front of them. The Kier Han at this time was drunk and could not stop talking nonsense. For a long time he didn't notice he ate. After eating and drinking, the men returned to the rest room separately. Midnight, when everyone has fallen asleep. A body slowly pushes out the window. Enter the low room. He's practicing some kind of magic. They can hide in the air. Very similar to Vietnamese trash onions. He was silent. His feet were not touching the ground. He flew to a place for a long time. He flew in front of you. She still doesn't notice. Still in a beautiful dream. This monster is called Slag. It's a man-eating monster. He usually appears in the form of an old man, wearing a vestment with sharp fangs. He can become invisible and has an incredibly big mouth. The monster looked for a moment. Then he opened his mouth wide and wanted to swallow her alive. Very quickly inside the room, a fire broke out. The man-eating monster was immediately burned to death. I heard a strange sound. Run out of my room immediately. What sound do you hear? When they are confused. Long put on a cloak. Out of the room. A long time ago, he glanced at his assistant. To find the center of the plot. Take orders to leave immediately. Above the clouds in the sky. A young man with 3 eyes standing there, looking down. Surprised to say, even in my sleep, I can still feel the Sao ambush. This young man is a messenger. Mutant ba eyes for hands. Excellent cultivation technique is the natural area of Van sex harmony. Look below for a moment. He glanced at the monster behind him. Paint brings fire here. This monster is the monster of the day. Watching people for a long time. When he heard the young man, he shot himself. Then immediately raise your hand and ask the master. What kind of fire is he talking about? The young man looked down at the face. A moment later, in the hotel sky, there's been a giant cloud vortex. The soldiers were surprised to see that. What is it so fast? From inside the tornado, a giant hand appeared and struck down. When the corn saw that, he exclaimed, "It's a monster whose essence is not clear." The hand is beating down in a terrible way. That the ground floor is smashed. Move the scene to the other side. After running to the martial artist's dojo. Hold the middle plot. He immediately pushed the door in and shouted, "Save 3 and go Theo. The old man is looking for you." But the scene inside. It makes you look stupid again. Inside the body full of soil. 3 people are inside holding a dragon ball. He glanced at Zhang Zhuo, laughing coldly. Has it been discovered? That's bad luck. I'm going to attack you. In a surprise way. Out of the school, looking at the enemy loudly. You 3 are crazy. Why did you kill your disciples? Wait for the monster to attack you. Has anything to do with you? 3 people watched him laugh. That non-human monster was attacked. Rao is like that. I don't blame you for coming to the dojo. It's just a coincidence. Because there is another master infiltrating the center plot. Plot to take the head of the monster, Kier Bazaar. Then we can only speed it up. He said he just swallowed it in his mouth. This is the dragon boat. Swallowing it can turn humans into evil dragons. Just swallowed into the evil dragon. Save 3 immediately. Transformed into the form of an evil dragon. Dragon looked at the elephant and laughed. So let's start. From you at the same time. On the side of the barbarians. The giant's arm just hit Kier. Right now it was burned by a red cross. From inside the cloud, endlessly transmitted out rustling sound. It's too hot. The arm quickly retreated back inside. The cyclone cloud then also slowly dissipated. Care for a long time. It's only now coming out of the wreckage. Take a long look and ask him if he is okay. Long shake your head. There is no work. Move the scene to the main gate of the central station. Soldiers are watching outside. I'm also staring outside right now. Very quickly outside there were shadows slowly coming in. The soldiers immediately raised their head in the direction of the enemy. People come quickly to stop. Take another step. Don't blame. Very fast. A hero appeared before their eyes. Other directions. There were other monsters attacking at the same time. Mutant Ba eyes in the air for observation. The corners of the mouth are slightly raised. Then out. A martial artist is also an iron pillar. I don't know what forces closed it down. Behind him painted scenes. Burned on his head without ceasing to stir. First, take back the fire. Then we'll see if it works or not. Otherwise, the painting will burn. The young man was a little angry. It's a mess. You are a monster, and the stone doesn't burn so easily. Paint the scene to hear that is startled. Yes, but you keep pushing me. Then deploy it. Finished 2. Arms behind the back. He pulled out a mask on his face. Then endlessly flying around the landscape. Help it recover the fire. After a while, the fire was caught by him inside the tree. Fan on hand. He took off his mask and looked at the painting. How does it feel to be burned by the red cross? Paint the scene pointing at his black burnt arm replied. It's very bad. That fire can't be extinguished. It also burns the body and soul. When burned by fire, bad things you've done in the past will turn out like riding a horse to see the flower. Turned into wood and jumped into the fire. It's like adding fuel to a fire. If not that, my being is made of stone. Extremely good fire resistance. It has now been burned to the ground. When the young man finished listening, he woke up thinking, Ra is like that. The greater the sin, the more damage the fire causes. Then he turned and left. Okay, let's go. Painting sounds so hard to understand. Leave the SAO. Don't watch any more. There is no other power at the bottom. He also worked with the Duke. SAO. Dante, we helped them a little bit. The young men laughed. They didn't have a chance. Paint the puzzling scene asked at SAO. The young man replied, because how many poor people? You can't be an opponent of this world. Want to kill her? You can only find someone who is strong, not poor. Bottom, a giant love spider is blocking you. I didn't even glance for a long time. He turned his head to take care of this side. You don't need management. Give me this mountain spider. Go help the others. This monster is a silk mountain spider that's as flexible as a cloth. It can also control blood flow. He waited a long time to look at the mountain spider. Red industrial fire. It also appears in your hand. Big mountain spider. This must have eaten a lot of people. The other side sword. He is currently in detention 3 Cho Cho Run, denied death. He couldn't believe he was screaming. What are you kidding, nerd? You can turn yourself into a dragon. Moreover, his power has grown to the point. I can't believe it. It can be ruled out that change is only superficial. This martial artist is really. The other three were chasing when they suddenly stopped. Look to the distance. The wild animals we unleashed have all been destroyed. As it says, the mountain spider has now been charred. The hero was caught by the net. There are lances on you. Another one is a horse that is similar to a hero. Finally, the mirror. He was directly killed. I have now returned to the old report. 4 monsters overflow into the translation station. They've all been killed. These monsters hurt this person. They're all the ones that showed up in the capital. But then, it suddenly disappeared. In recent years, the organization believes that. Long time no. Pay attention to him. Stare at the distance. While he was reporting, suddenly, a long pause came. It's become long. This is your no head, no tail. That makes it impossible to understand. Long looked to the far, low to take the momentum. Behind the back of the 2 wings due to the fire. Also appeared. Next, give attention. If you are looking for this dragon, give it to me. When I finished, my body jumped up. The image's body is transformed into a planet that flies straight up into the sky. Go straight to the evil dragon. Just rushed in. I have just completed the 2nd fire consciousness. The evil dragon saw her coming. There's no fear. On the contrary, laughing. Just in time. Do you know how long I've been waiting for this moment? Not long without noticing it. A power like heaven falls on him. After punching this one right, she looked at it and said, "Ra, you talk too much. Below the shelter is fleeing. If you see a long time coming, stop watching. To see the power of a new power." He couldn't help but scream. Terrible force to pink. Industrial fire. It can actually increase significantly. The body of the firefighter. The evil dragon was punched in the city. After a while, close your eyes again. Then stand up again. It would be a shame if it wasn't for the undeclared enemy. I really want to find a hole in it. Long enough on one side to hear that loud piercing. With that big body of yours. It's hard to find a suitable hole. Evil long, angry, face down. Talking to you is so boring. Then, for a long time, immediately whip his tail up towards her. It's hard to see his movements for a long time to turn around. Just turned around. I saw the enemy's tail coming up behind me. You don't have time to react. He was hit by the evil dragon's tail. Fly far below. I also ran to the shelter right now. I finally found you. 3 is not here with you. I see that his dojo is also under attack. Not least of you. He pointed to the evil dragon in the distance. The old man's opponent is save 3. When I heard that, I was terrified. What are you kidding? Another party long after eating a blow of the evil dragon. I am now struggling from a house to stand up. It's too painful for this guy. Why are you so familiar with the dragon's body? He's also been a dragon before. The devil flew in front of her, laughing coldly. Stop looking for excuses for your uselessness. You don't deserve it at all. As the 4 statues of the Great Tun, now let me help you fix this mistake. Finished talking, a claw snapped down the long-standing spot. The reaction is also extremely fast. The enemy has just launched. You jumped up and avoided it. A strike 7 defeat evil dragon, swayed contempt. Run away, Sao. You are not worthy of the name. He landed on a screaming roof. If we don't hide, there's a problem. The fire immediately lit up around him. Pink Interprofessional, the 3rd fire of the Violent Mountain, quickly deployed Ra. The evil dragon on the opposite side is not weak either. Open mouth condensed power of Ra Dai Tun Long. 2 people later. Direct the enemy to attack. 2 power flow. Horrible VA clash in the air. Right now, in the background, a dark image appeared. His appearance. There's absolutely no AI to detect it. He looked at the dragon in front of him. It's impossible to understand aesthetics. Martial arts master, central plot, SAI this evil dragon. You're a martial artist. I believe that judgment is true. But if it's really, is the embodiment of the martial arts master central plot. So what's the reason for his rebellion? When Chu took office, the martial artist secures the districts he's going through. They all went through 3 investigations. Celestial Object Bar Inspection Kit and Civil Protection Inspection Kit. Completely loyal confirmation. Then I'll give them the title of martial artist. If he intends to rebel against the great. No reason to pass the test. After a long time of fire. At this time, there was a tendency to suppress Long of the evil dragon, so she used more power. Evil dragon eyes wrinkled to the extreme, and then definitely collect. Head to one side. Avoid the red inter-industrial fire attack. The fire didn't get in the way. A worm tore through the clouds. The mountain is leaving with the owner of the cloud. I was surprised to see that. Ooh, it's so pompous. Take a look at it. You're not in a hurry to continue fighting. They're standing across from each other, staring at each other. After a while the dragon spoke. We have a problem. Long calm reply. The evil dragon quickly said in his heart. How do you know? I am a martial artist with a 3-pronged strategy. When did you realize this? Long make out shape explicit answer. It's not so obvious. Even if your shape and voice change. But my eyes haven't changed. The one with the greatest enemy in this city is you. It's easy to see that the evil dragon asked. That's why you refused my wine. That's why you stayed at the translation station. It's not my dojo. It's all for this reason. That's right. That's our problem. We should not take the previous life as a measure. Even though they are both kings. But you and he are very different. From the moment you were born, you were a monster. It's hard to see why the enemy is asking you. Tell me that again. The old man once said. The world has no hatred for no reason. I've obviously never met you. Why do you hate me so much? Evil dragon face down. Why? Because your existence is a mistake. He remembered the old days, when I was just a baby. If you are not born in this world, the mother and father, and my sister and everyone in Duongwo district, they will not die in that city fire. After I buried my parents and sister, then it was collected by the guru in the Duongwu army. Then for a while, from the mouth of another man, I know the story about you. As soon as I heard the news, then we understand our destiny. God arranged for me to go hunting that day. Is there a reason? That ties you tight. I'm wrapping you up. You are the reason my family is broken. I will eventually become your killer for revenge. After listening to it all, I kept quiet. Years ago, on a translator station in the capital, in the middle of the road, to the central plot, a bunch of gangsters gathered here, eating and chatting. Jiang Tai, the burning of Yangyu County is over. He has been dealt with seriously. Unfortunately, the fire came so suddenly. The Fire Lord nearby. Not yet at the scene of the incarnation. He put out the fire, unfortunately. This can be said to be the best opportunity to worship the Fire Lord to achieve. Natural disasters are favorable people to lead the fire. Fire existence. It's all possible thanks to the scourge that burned down Yangyu County. Straight up to disaster level. An old man sitting at the next table. From beginning to end, listened very carefully. After a while, he stood up and wanted to leave. Those who see it, one of them, and directed him to speak. Old family son, you don't have to care about the state of the county. Want to go there and have a look? Don't go there. There's nothing left. It's all burned down. Even the martial artist and his disciples. Nor did it pass. The old man turned and looked at them smiling. But most people are lucky to survive. We need a child with a strong destiny. To be the inheritor of Y8. This guy's name is Security, is a martial artist in the capital. Great school. His cultivation is the 6th level of a lower level. Watch the shadow of his back leave. These people are hard to understand. Transfusion medicine test 8 SAO. That hunter didn't have a disciple named Tiger. You talk about me. I haven't seen it lately. Move the scene to Duongvu district. Inside the rubble of the city. There's a teenager sitting at a barbecue. He's the lucky one. Survived the Duongvu district disaster. Save 3 pages. I saw an old man leading a dog to me. You stand up immediately. He pulled out his knife and a man came to try his luck. How many times have I told you? There's no purple fire here that you need to find. Don't waste any more time. The old man looked at him with a friendly smile. Your words are wrong. He didn't come looking for fire. There is only one boy left in this city. How long have you been fooling around here? Why not leave? I understand. Your family died in this great fire. You guard this place. I want to see them for the last time in 7 weeks. Is it true? Save 3 did not respond, his piercing eyes filled with murder. Staring at him. The old man didn't notice, so he kept talking. I want to find someone who can inherit my Y8. He must have a strong destiny to avoid disaster. Powerful way as she meditates. And the life force must be as strong as the weeds. I think you're a good fit. If after the week offering for relatives ends, you have no place to go, you don't know where to go. Do you want to try being my disciple? A few days later, the old man took Theo away. In the forest, under a tree, someone is there waiting for them. This person is one of the 8 stars. Crystal left soup, specializing in managing evil problems in the forest. I saw the old man leading a little boy. He's a little puzzled. Who is this child? The old man patted the shoulder, and the 3 families smiled. The successor to my 8. That we found in Duong district. The guard looked at him and asked, not reconsidering Sao Lake, even though his personality is a bit extreme. But he's a natural disaster. You and the other hunters lost him. I don't know how many years. You can find a fighter like him. The old man was very angry with his face. No matter how good he is, it's useless. He even dared to worship everything. There's something else he can't do. Such a person becomes a martial artist. That's our greatest disaster. When the guard heard that, he fell into meditation. After a while, he turned and left. Maybe you're right. The old man saved 3 and quickly followed him. What is the mission this time? The guard replied to a wild boar that contained a vein. Running from the city. It seems to be contaminated by something. The situation is not good, so it needs to be dealt with immediately. When the old man heard that, he fell into a deep depression. Sao pollution sunset down deep in the forest. In a field. Looks like a bunch of flowers on a leaf. It's not far away, save 3 wild and old men hiding in a bush. 3 couldn't help but ask. Master Nature, what are ears? The old man did not answer and asked, "Why did I suddenly want to ask this?" Save 3 had quick response. Because before going up the mountain, the master chatted with that gentleman. I can hear the meaning of his words. The nature of the disaster seems to be terrible. Brother has that quality. Why do you still choose me as your successor? Even though I've never met my brother. But if natural disasters are rare, he is not the heir to the master's 8. It should be him. Security immediately responded, not quite the opposite. Breaking business is great. It was created by the god of art. Its purpose is to better protect humanity from the clutches of evil. It's absolutely not used in competition, killing each other between people. Your brother just went the wrong way. After I was expelled from my master, he turned himself into a wild animal. Someone who worshipped everything like him. Master didn't believe he could change his mind. I am dedicated to inheriting the spirit of technology. What about the natural disaster quadrant? He is planning. Go on, the opposite side of the bushes. There's a wild boar coming out. Wait for the prey to show up and stop talking. The pig on his back had a sword. This is the one the guards say. The wild boar came running from the city. It contains blood vessels. It's being contaminated by something. It is rated at level A. The old man kept 3 shelves on one side, extremely nervous. Look at the wild boar. The wild boar slowly walked towards the flower. Very quickly he stepped on the trap that the old man set raw. 4 sides around and under its feet. There were immediately countless traps. The old man saw that and shouted, "Follow me." Then he came up with his black dog towards the wild boar. A moment later, the wild boar was killed on the spot. The old man was covered in wounds, leaning against a nearby tree trunk. The 3 men rushed to where he shouted, "Master, don't move. Let me go down the mountain to find the medicine." The old man looked at him and said there was no need for such trouble. As long as the technology doesn't die on the spot. When they're hunting, they can heal themselves. Heal wounds by praying to the gods. When he finished, he began to pray. To restore the holy grace in natural disaster relief. I am proud of Jiang Bok Fuk Tan Wall. Kim kept the great artist and disciple's security. To request 9 celestial orders to the Father. Recitation is done. He just sat there motionless like that. After a while, he breathed out and told 3 people. Let's get some sleep. Stay awake tonight and watch your surroundings. Save 3 and immediately nod. Don't worry, master. It quickly reached the top. The old man just leaned against the tree and fell asleep. 3 on one side of the fire. Suddenly, the black dog next to him wouldn't stop barking in the direction of the black dog. Looking back, I only saw the dead pig in the distance. There's a body standing there. He looked at the dead pig in front of him. The back end has been activated. We lost the battle on the bridge. Lost SAO. Then he turned his head and looked at the 3 men. Thank you and your teacher helped in pulling me out of the sealed sow's body. What do I think your name is? This young man is a traitor, one of the kings of the earth. Is a close friend, with the best performance in the world. He's also the head of the 10 kings of Pluto. Save 3 did not answer, still displayed defensive posture. In the lap, extreme aesthetic stress. Master once said that ancient objects can also be made into human form. If you come across these bone marrow offerings into human form, without the power of B-level epigenetics or higher, don't hesitate to run away immediately. But the master is still sleeping. I can't leave master here and run away. The Lord saw you standing there. Then ask again. You don't want to answer. Suddenly, on his face grew another eye. Very quickly, the distance around several hundred meters fell into his sight.